Welcome back inside the Aztec Athletic Center as our live interviews continue on GoAztecs.com for our 2012 Signing Day special. Let's take a look at the defensive line now. We're joined by assistant coach who is in charge of the defensive line, Osai Lewis. And Coach, we've been talking all day about this exciting class of 2012, but we look at the defensive line side, and you guys are bringing in some serious talent.
Yeah, we were real fortunate to go out and find some guys that fit what we do, that are good football players, that are excited about coming to San Diego State. And so it's going to be a real exciting time when we get those kids in here in August. Let's
talk first about the local that's on the list at the defensive line, which is Malcolm Jackson out of Mount Miguel High School, a young man who I know was in a recruiting tug-of-war, and that tug-of-war is over, and he's coming to Montezuma Mesa. What an exciting get.
A real big get. He is a real good football player, fits what we do with all the movement and speed that we recruit up front, but he's also a bigger guy that's going to be able to come in, and we'll probably start him out at defensive end, and he'll be one of those guys. Hopefully he'll pick up the system pretty quick, and he'll be able to play defensive end and also be able to play tackle for us. Real excited about him and his upside.
Yeah, when you see a guy like Jackson who's coming out of a smaller division in terms of playing down in division, but from the league that he's in, winds up playing against a top program like Helix, and you get to see how he matches up against upper state level players. Yeah. He acquitted himself so well in those games.
Did a real good job. You know, you watch some of those games, and he's in the backfield. It's always a good thing for a D lineman to be in the backfield. He does a real good job of using his hands. Real good transitioning in his pass rush. And finishing, and is a physical football player, and that's what we look for, the guys that are fast, physical, and like to play football.
All right, now, one of the players, and this is exciting that we can talk about him now, he was just added to our list as a player whose national letter of intent just got faxed in and confirmed. I know Matt Morin was up there at Chaparral High School to make sure that the pen was put to paper, and that's Teddy Queen, 6'1", 245 pounds, out of Temecula, and our latest Aztec. What do we know about him?
Real exciting player, makes a lot of plays. Reminds you of Jordan Thomas. He's 6'1", 245 pounds. Is powerful. Has a real good get off. Does a real good job against the run and pass rush. His pass rush, I think he had over 15 sacks this season, and we're really excited about getting him local, from the Inland Empire, and coming down here and continue to get good players out of there.
Yeah, it seems like Temecula's become a rather fertile recruiting ground for you guys.
It has, and there's a lot of good football players up there. And, for those kids, a lot of kids always talk about getting away and going away to college. Well, we got a big-time program here at San Diego State now. And, they can get away, and they just got to ride down the road an hour and a half.
Yeah, and that's the good news. It was the same for me, Coach, when I left Long Beach to come to San Diego for college, because you're far enough away that Mom and Dad can't just drop by without a phone call first.
They got to call first. Yeah, but you're close enough to go home and get a meal. So, hopefully we will continue to get good players out of there. But we're real excited about Teddy coming and being an Aztec.
Get a meal and get some laundry done, too, while you're up there. Alex Barrett out of Mesa, Arizona, Desert Ridge High School, 6'3", 245 pounds, and added to the D-line class. Let's talk about Alex.
Alex, another defensive end that we're going to bring in here, and he's, you look at him, his size, his athletic ability. He has real good change of direction. Was really stout against the run for his team out there in Arizona. My brother lives in Chandler, and so he got to watch him for me a few times, and real excited about getting him. He's another guy like Malcolm that's in our system is a bigger, heavier guy that's going to be a defensive end that will learn and train and know the tackle spot. So we're really excited about getting guys like that are multiple, that can play in, that can play tackle, and you put more athletes on the field.
And before we get out of here, out of Geyer High School in Denton, Texas, Dan Cotman, 6'1", 245 pounds, rounding out the current group of defensive linemen that have signed. And here comes another athlete, huh?
Another athlete, another inside guy, very physical. Anytime you're in a state like California where there's a lot of players, and you're able to go to another state like Texas that has lots of players, you're real happy to get a guy like Cotton, because he was all conference, he was all everything. They have all teams he was on. But he was on them because he was physical. He's in the backfield. He's always tackling backs in the backfield, and he's really strong. I think he'll come in here. He'll start out at tackle, and as he progresses, he may get big enough to play outside. But right now, just got him to come in and get in there and play defensive tackle for us.
All right, and last question before I let you go. Kind of a wild card question, but I know that in any recruiting class, these boys come in with a position attached to their name, but that position's written in pencil. It's not written in pen. And I'm curious, when you go into spring ball, and for example, there's 6 offensive linemen in this year's class, how much, in addition to watching your position group, how much do you kind of keep an eye on the other side of the field? Because you never know when a guy might be on the bottom of the depth chart, on O-line, but then you convert him to defensive line, and he becomes a star.
I know, being with Coach Long at Oregon State and New Mexico and now here, that happens quite a bit. You go out and sometimes you see guys and you see them on the switch teams when we go scouts during the season, and you see that, hey, maybe that guy could be a tight end that runs real well and has got size and has good change of direction, and you'd like to look at him at defensive end, a la Mr. Craighead.
Right.
And the same thing with running backs and big receivers. It can be safeties, corners, or even linebacker in our 3-3-5 system.
So you never know. These kids are coming in. They've got some dreams and ideas, but by the end, the key is that they're Aztecs and that they're out there on the field and performing whatever side of the football field it may be on. Coach Osai Lewis, our guest here in the 11 o'clock hour. Thanks a lot for the insight on the D-line.
Thanks for having me.